Back from somebody, 2, 2, 1. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Sean Lardo, the evangelist for the ConnectWise Economy. I am here with a few of my very good friends today. We're going to talk about more in depth about each one of them in a second here, but just want to make you aware that we just opened up applications for PitchIT. That's what you guys are here to talk about today. So we'll start out with some quick conversations here and introduction. We'll start over with my good friend Adam Walter. Adam, please introduce yourself and your company and give me a fun fact.
A fun fact. My name's Adam Walter. I'm with HumanizeIT. A fun fact, I'm going to break the fourth wall here. Everything you see in the background, I took with my own iPhone and are places I have actually visited.
I know this for a fact, and it makes me jealous. And I'm waiting for that one scene where the fly goes by the screen.
It's a bird.
It's a bird? Okay, it looks like a fly to me. But yeah, you should do better camera work next time. Anyway, moving on. All right. So, Jason, you took second place as a finalist from Vonahi. Please, a little bit of background on you and your company, and also a fun fact.
Alrighty. So I'm Jason Wells, COO at Vonahi Security. We are a cybersecurity company focused on network penetration testing, and we built a platform that essentially automates our founders' manual testing process. Fun fact, we delivered our 10,000th cyber penetration test today.
Just saw that on LinkedIn. Congratulations.
Congrats.
I think the stats there, if in the 2 years that we've done it, it would have taken 200 security analysts to deliver that over that period of time. So we were able to do it through automation. Pretty cool.
That is some seriously good quantifying too, and I like that your fun fact is work related, not really anything else.
Some of us have personalities, Sean.
You see Adam's background versus my background, right?
Yes, true story. There's a lot of personality behind you. Let me tell you.
I could do my attention getter.
Well, let's not share it. Let's not start. Oh, that's awesome. See, and
will he make it down the stairs?
Probably not. We didn't. But that takes us back to big wheels and stuff. But that's another conversation. Anyway, and let's go with last year's actual winner of the PitchIT competition, Cam. A little bit about you, the business and whatnot, and fun fact.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Cam Shrikant. I work with AlertOps. So we're an alert management and automated incident response tool focusing on after hours, on call, scheduling, escalations, things of that nature. Fun fact, there was at least a month-long period last year where dinner was Taco Bell every day.
Wow, to be young again. we would all die.
I could not handle that.
No. Is it the exact same order every time, or do you kind of?
I have variations, but it stayed fairly constant.
I've never ordered anything that tasted different that I know of from Taco.
Tell me at least you had some fiber in your day, because.
Oh, of course. Whole grain in the morning, Taco Bell for dinner.
Okay. Just had to make sure, because wow.
Yeah, right. Wow is right. So okay. So let's talk about your businesses as a whole, because we're going to get into this as we go through some of the questions that we already set some questions, but again, we're going to keep this as fluid as possible, right? Because we want to capture a good conversation, people. And if anybody's watching that has questions other than Keith Nelson that'll post really ridiculous things, we would love to hear your questions. So let's dig into your business a little bit, Adam. As far as HumanizeIT, let's talk a little bit about what HumanizeIT does, and what's some of the core. What do you guys live by? What's your ethos?
We want to have better conversations. We have too many engineers going in because we love to follow processes. We love to bring in a firewall, apply a config, walk away. And that's what we do. And we treat our human conversations the same way. And so we come in and we tell our client what they need. We tell them what to do, and we tell them all the things they need to know. And we don't spend time learning from them. And our funny story is, if you treated dates the same way you treat your clients, would they come back for a second date? And because you're sitting there and you're robotically telling them all the things you're doing and why you're great. and you don't take the time to actually sit down and understand what it is they're trying to accomplish and how you can be part of their story. So our software is very similar to like 90IO or other software platforms where we facilitate the conversation between the key stakeholders, put the right things on the table, and allow your customer to see your true value and you to see their value.
Cool. So, okay. And you're not from the space. So that's
No.
That's almost a fun fact in itself. So, where'd you come from?
I'm an engineer, by trade. I started off at the State Patrol doing analyst work as a PC tech, and I climbed my way through the ranks. And I worked in cloud security, migrations. I worked in marketing and analytics. I've been through core critical infrastructure. I was the director of security. So I've been around a while. And then my wife said, "You're kind of burning out of the corporate." So standard corporate burnout story. And then she said, "Why don't you work with small businesses again?" And I'd been in IT leadership for so long and talking to the executive leaders in corporations. I said, why don't I bring that to the small business? And I noticed there's this huge gap. Whereas in the small business world, there's a severe lack of people with experience talking at the executive level.
Mm-hmm.
And all these well-meaning engineers who are very smart and very capable have never been taught how to have an executive conversation. They don't care about firewalls. They care about, is that firewall going to provide profits for their company? Is it going to help them relate to their clients? So I was walking into schools, like private schools, who were MSP clients at $1,500 break fix and turning them into $9,000 MRR contracts simply because I said, hey, what's going on with your school and what are your goals? And when I looked into what their goals were, when they wanted to get Chromebooks to their kids, when they wanted to be able to have online testing, and they wanted to fully use Google Classroom, when they started explaining this to me and why they weren't doing it because technology was such a pain, I said, well, here's what you need to do to get there. And they're like, they started looking at the cost of a full-time employee and a managed services contract that was going to allow them to take on 60 more students. And it was a no-brainer. And so we took school after school after school. Then the districts started looking at us and saying, hey, how can you do this? Can you help us with our other schools? And we started working on bigger and bigger projects. And eventually MSP started asking us to coach them on how we were doing all this stuff.
So it's safe to say you focus on English to English translation between different personas. Because that's
like Office Space. I take the engineer schematics and I take them to the people. I'm a people person.
Perfect. Jason, let's talk about you again here a little bit. So, in Vonahi, okay, so you guys have one of the most controversial offers in the market, right? It's polarizing because you're not supposed to be able to automate pen tests, right? That's what I heard.
That is what the market says. No, there are people, pen testers, right? People in the market. I mean, the reality is that for the past decade, you've got companies saying they can do automated pen testing, and they're really just vulnerability scanning. And so that's created a history of, or I guess a market, people thinking and hearing automated pen testing, and it's just not pen testing. So that's what traditionally what people hear, and that's what they think, right? So that is definitely something that, we have to overcome in the market when we talk to, end clients and partners that are going to offer this to their end clients is, okay, we've heard that before. Why are you different? Are you really a true penetration test? And the reality is that we have been able to take a manual process, our founders, manual pen testing process, the tools, the logic, everything that's, connected into performing that penetration test and, automate it. And then we do have a validation process at the end where our team looks at it, make sure that the automation didn't miss anything. And if it does, we'll do that manually, we'll automate it, and we'll add it to the platform. So ultimately, you're going to get a full pen test every time, and you get the value of automation, right? So we lower the cost, we make it more, you can do it more frequent, right? Typically, it's now once a year compliance driven. Go ahead, Adam.
I'll say, of all people, I was skeptical when I first met you guys in PitchIT. Like security director, CISSP published in the security world, having spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on pen tests. I'm like, oh, another one of these. I got these guys beat, you know? And so, but the
Right.
more I learned about your guys' product from a security standpoint, somebody who spent a lot of time in this arena, I was like, holy crap, these guys are for real.
Right.
Well, I'm going to lose now because like, this is awesome. This is like the first of its kind that I look at a lot of these, like as somebody in the corporate world spending literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on pen tests at multiple companies. No one has ever been like, oh, here's a great pen test. It's always like, hey, here's Nessus. You know, here's Metasploit. Go ahead and have fun. And it's like, it was a pain. It was a large learning curve. And then I just end up with the vulnerability test in the end. And I looked at what you guys are doing, like, okay, I get it. So I'm a fan, I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm not a security guy. I think everybody knows this, and I got a crash.
Oh yeah, we know.
Course. I met everybody else, Adam. I'm not talking to you anymore. And so I got a crash course on what it meant, and through the point of talking to other MSPs that actually vetted out this for them, and it was really a big deal. Look, Keith actually has smart things to say at times. So you're right. They're self-appointed. And yes, the MSP and the MSSP is definitely a good conversation. We talk about cybersecurity and where things start to align with each other. And that's a future conversation that's being defined daily, to be honest. So, yeah, I like that. And even qualified and can simply review the Vonahi reports and understand the value, which is important. I think that's what your big go-to-market piece is the fact that you're automating this and you're streamlining it to make it easier and scalable for the average user. And they need to just know what they're looking at the end of the day, almost like a checklist.
Yeah, I think Vonahi, Jason, you guys also have a problem in front of you that you're a threat to a lot of consultants out there.
Well, let's not live stream that because he needs to make friends still. So he's not a threat; he's their friend. It's co-opetition.
Co-opetition.
Yeah, and I mean, so to be clear, right? I mean, we focus on the network layer too, right? There's a lot of other types of penetration testing that can't be done automated and, requires manual testing. And so it's part of the equation that exists out there, especially when you start getting into the larger organizations, enterprises for sure. But yeah, I mean, and you're starting to see a much bigger need for penetration testing in the smaller organizations, and they cannot afford a manual test. So, and that's part of the reason why we've gone to market through the channel and chosen to do that is because there's a really big market in the small and medium-sized organizations that are just starting to realize that they've got to do pen testing to meet compliance or cyber liability insurance requirements, and they go to their partner, the MSP, and we've developed a solution that not only solves the end client problem, but it gives the MSP the ability to deliver it, for high profit margins, don't need to add resources, all the things that the MSP is looking for.
Right. Yeah.
But you also allow a pen tester to do more, like by simplifying some of these lower end pen tests. You can now say, hey, you now have time to hit this lower margin.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So let's move on because we have time that we can maintain to a degree. So, and we should talk about last year's winner again, Cam. Let's talk about what AlertOps does. What's your value prop? What do people not know?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're an alerting tool, right? Alerts, notifications, escalations. And I think that there's a bunch of tools like that on the market, but we have a framework here internally that we kind of try to live by, and we refer to it as FACTS. Flexibility, automation, expert guidance, right? So what's the purpose of a notification? So that you know and are appraised of what's going on in your ecosystem. Now, with that said, that's not the end of the story, right? Someone's still got to do something about that notification. They have to act on it, whether it's a service request or an incident. So ultimately, where we really lie in terms of the notification sphere is extending that, right? Building logic to say, this is noise, this is not. Being able to automate the process of interacting with your PSA that would otherwise be manual, right? So facilitating a lot of the downstream action and logic that was otherwise manual is really where we stand out as far as helping MSPs with alert management.
Right. So, and looking at what you guys do, something we talked about this the other day, even it's not just alerts, it's also the the enabling them to respond in the right manner. Correct. So
Mhm.
that's a whole that's extremely important. That actually goes back to Adam's conversation even about English to English translation and whatnot. Same rules apply. It's automating a response to make sure you get to a desired outcome as fast as possible. Correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and believe me, I'm the culprit of most of the dumb tickets. So I understand. I mean, how many times I've been told to, restart my computer? I don't even know. Like in my career, I probably had more of that than I've had sales. Let's be honest. So anyway, moving on. So okay, you guys all were in PitchIT. So going back to you again, Adam, what made you join PitchIT?
You told me to talk less.
Yes, I did. Only speak when spoken to. Yes. Now go.
What made me join PitchIT? It was kind of a roundabout thing where I had joined Invent. We really wanted to focus on the ConnectWise ecosystem for 2022. And, they did such a great job of saying, hey, while you're here, here's other things that will help you. Hey, we think you're a really great candidate for this. And I bet you if I went back to my email, someday I'm going to find out who was the first person to reach out to me for PitchIT. And it just
please let me know. I want to thank that person.
Yeah, or curse them.
That's what I really meant. But
it was an opportunity to get to know other people, and I saw it as a networking opportunity. We get hit up so much on different things to get involved in, and you're constantly being asked to spend more and more and more money. This was one of the first times a vendor approached me and says, hey, you want to be part of this where we're going to give back to you? We won't require you to spend 10 grand just to have a seat at the table, that we're actually going to help train you and walk you through something. I'm like, okay, And so I said, this is a great time to network. I'll get to know some of the other vendors in the space. And me, I don't shut up. So whether you like it or not, you get to know me, Cam. And I kind of inserted myself in. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made as a business owner. In the 6 years I've been in business now for myself, is joining PitchIT and actually not doing it alone for the first time.
Right. Yep. I get it.
As the newcomer to the field, I didn't have the contacts.
I appreciate that part. That's one of the things I appreciate about what you say often and what you took advantage of, because, being able to take advantage of an ecosystem is, and getting not the keys to the kingdom, because there's way more to it, but at least it gives you a entryway in to start looking around and figuring out where you belong. So I appreciate that. Jason, how about you guys? What, again, polarizing offer. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think, targeting the MSP space a little bit the same as Adam. I mean, we had signed up for I was looking into the marketplace, signed up for the Invent program to start the integration process, get on the marketplace. And I just looked it up. It was Amber who had reached out to me and Alton and suggested that we join the PitchIT program. So
perfect.
Applied, got involved there. I don't think I really knew that much of what it was going to be. But I echo what Adam said. I mean, I think, and our entire leadership team would say the same thing. I mean, it would do it 100 times out of 100 times again, right? I mean, and I think we got value in multiple areas. So, I mean, I think the weekly sessions gave us certain value, and then also the ecosystem. I mean, getting engaged with the other companies and the other business leaders in the community. Not just Adam and Cam later on when we got into the finalists, but we've built a community through all the owners that were or the leaders in the PitchIT from the other companies. And then once we got to IT Nation, you're on the trade show floor. We're all together. You learn a lot. You build good relationships in the ecosystem there. I think that's been extremely important. And then, I mean, I can't say enough about the brand awareness that you've helped us, that this program helps us with getting on. This is probably the 15th live stream podcast, something that we've gotten involved in, not just with Sean and ConnectWise and the team there, but we've gotten connected to other podcasts outside of this that have helped us, right? I mean, Adam does his podcast that helps us get brand awareness. So
absolutely. Funny, coincidentally, and don't worry, I'm getting to you too, Cam, in a second, but coincidentally speaking, we were putting together, Louis and I sat down and went through just like basic numbers and trying to figure out where, like what we did well, what we could improve on, whatever. Right. And we were breaking down numbers, and the numbers were just absurd for social between interactions, from clicks for people that viewed, impressions, to comments, to shares. We are well over 70,000 of everything combined between that. And that's not even counting whatever you guys did after,
Right.
like whatever you guys did downstream from us, the people that engaged, we can't see that obviously. But when you come down to it, it was a great exposure, and it's due to the collaborative effort. But with that said, Cam, tell me why'd you guys join?
So we joined Invent because we saw an opportunity in the space when naturally, or organically rather, we saw a bunch of MSPs starting to sign up and leverage our tool. So we built the integration with ConnectWise, and we were in Invent for about a year, but that's probably the extent of what we did, right? We didn't really try to reach out to the community, and as a matter of fact, we didn't know where to start. So when we joined PitchIT, it was kind of just thrust upon me, hey, we're doing this. So I don't even know who initiated the process. And as I started going to the weekly meetings, kind of like Jason said, each facet of the actual program provided a lot of different benefits, right? And it was holistic. So each meeting, from social media messaging to operational maturity levels to integrating your tech stack with other systems, each session provided its own value to us. But then beyond that, right, obviously the network. Once we got to the event, beyond just the competition, we were on the floor. And we were actually talking about this internally the other day, that there's an energy there as far as everyone that competed in these kiosk booths. And it's almost like its own community inside of that showroom, right? I remember Adam was pointing at our booth at Vonahi, right? Directing people around. I think that just that notion of community and being able to make friends really helped us. And I see you, Sean, all the time, right? Whenever something needs to get done, you have the person's number handy right then and there. Right. So building that network, I think, was very, very beneficial for us.
And let's be honest, Adam's like a lighthouse is with his height. Like he could see the entire showroom floor standing regular, no ladder required.
We're all the same height on Zoom. Come on.
Yeah, he was referring to the showroom floor where you were the height of the kiosk. You were
the
like
unicorn shirt makes me look taller. I'm really only like 5'10".
Yeah, with another foot on top of that, and then another foot, and then another foot. I mean, my God, 6'8", 6'7"? What are you?
See, again, the unicorn shirt makes me look taller. 6'6". I'm only 300 pounds, 6'6" with the baby.
I love he's only 6'6". Yeah. Okay. So you guys all shared some stats with me that, as a result of being part of the program, and not say everything is due to the program. I want to take all the credit, of course. I want me and Louie and Andrew and Ashley to be like, yeah, we did this, but you guys had some really good stats to talk about, and just off the top of my head, Jason, you said that, you guys went 90% increase in MRR during the course of this. Yeah. Right. Look at Cam's face. Cam's like 90% MRR. Wow. That's good. That is good. Right. And Adam mentioned he generated over 300 leads, scheduled 80 demos. Again, these are big numbers. This is stuff that you don't get. I mean, I've been in this space for a long time. You can go to a conference, and I've been to some very big conferences where I didn't have the right booth because I didn't have the right amount of money, of course. So that's that investment piece. That's a struggle, and I might have generated 50 leads.
Well, I
spent 20 grand.
I think that's part of the community there, though. Like we were stuck in that back corner next to the vendor registration desk, next to a black curtain. We were not front and center at ConnectWise Invent, but because we were so loud together, because we were having so much fun, we were drawing people in from all over the conference. Yeah, I think all three of us did really well on lead generation.
I would agree, but not to mention though, don't forget about this too. The exposure prior to this is a lot of work. This is a lot of nurturing you guys did. We all nurtured together. That was the whole concept behind it. So people knew you were going to be there and existed. That really helps. It helps to be a known person walking into a room. When you're the stranger walking into a room that nobody, it's always uncomfortable, right? And people aren't sure how to approach you. But when they've already seen you before, they've already watched what you've had to say. People relate to you. They see you on this. They're going to see you on this live stream, for instance, and they're going to be like, oh, that Cam guy seems like a nice guy. He seems approachable. He said something. I love Taco Bell. He beat my record. weird.
No one's gonna want to be around Cam now that they know about his tackle.
Like, so it's that, and the combination of the fact that the showroom is set up in a really good way that, and this is not me being biased, because there's a reason why when I was with vendors before, I sponsored IT Nation Connect. It was because I knew I would get a lot of exposure, you know. And Cam, whoever's interrupting you during the course of this, you tell them they better check it at the door.
Oh, that's our CEO. Yeah, I just kicked him out of the room.
Of course. No, thanks for supporting us and watching the live stream that we're talking about you on. So let's get in a little bit. So, you know, we've talked about, like, you know, some experiences and the benefits behind it. And you guys addressed the camaraderie. I think it's important to talk about that camaraderie a little bit more that's built. Because one is you guys all sponsored the pre-day, the three of you. And you started to collaborate and tell a story, which to our partners is a very big story. How do we go to one place? How do you guys work together? How do you integrate, or how do you play together in general? You know, is it possible? And you guys were able to tell that story, which was really good. And you took it to a online. You guys did an actual webinar after that fact too, right? Where you guys got together. So how did you guys bring that all together? And whoever can start. Jason, you can start because Adam will take it over.
I'm waiting. I'm trying to be
doing well
with people.
You're doing so well.
Well, I mean, yeah. So I think, it brought to our attention that, potentially we could do a pre-day, that for the startups like us, they're expensive. So we started kind of getting together and, can we do something collaboratively? And, I think, we had already had like this Slack channel with all the PitchIT people. So we started, talking about that. I think it ended up with the three of our group being the three that wanted to do it. And, just back and forth in that planning process. But the idea of, the reality is what kind of centers us is that we can help the MSP do something and add to their stack without having to add resources. And so that we kind of built that theme together, and then kind of split the time. And, I think we all feel like we really got good results from that pre-day, as far as attendance, as far as interaction from the people that were there, engagement in the pre-day.
Yep, I would agree. I think it also comes down to something you guys did well together too. Not just that you agreed to pay for it, not that you agreed to sponsor it and take advantage of the real estate, but also the way you guys talked about how you guys work collaboratively as a technology set.
Right.
Again, the biggest challenge for MSPs is their stack alignment, right? And they have to go to multiple places to find this. That's why they come to these conferences. That's why they came to IT Nation. They didn't come here for anything. I mean, they came to see their friends, network, and have some good times and whatnot, and learn from each other, and have some really good drinks at times too. But the reality is they're there to talk to all the vendors and see what's out there. That's one of the primary missions of that, and go out to breakout sessions and learn from other people that have done it. So I think you guys have done a really nice job when you talked about the integration points and how they work together. I was there for it, obviously. You guys offered me to MC it, so I was happy for that. I had nothing really good to say about it. Like I really don't think I provided really any educational value, but I think
you also start seeing this problem in the vendor industry where we all work in our silos. And rather than saying, hey, you know what? I love working with AlertOps. I love working with Vonahi, and like calling out and saying, hey, we work well together because we honestly do. If you work with Vonahi, then we'll help you show value in our portal. If you're working with AlertOps, we'll help you with those recommendations based upon your tactics. And like working together, we can help MSPs. You genuinely want to help rather than being selfish and saying, I just want the biggest piece of pie I can, and only talking about yourself, me. It goes back to that date scenario. If you're just talking about yourself the whole time, do you actually care? But whereas if you say, oh yeah, my buddy Jason, oh yeah, my buddy Cam, talk about Trammy or Alton or anybody, and just being like, hey, we work together because we're all trying to solve that problem of taking your MSP to the next level. Now you're like, okay, now we're genuine. ConnectWise actually cares. We're trying to build this ecosystem that genuinely has an interest in how to make MSPs better rather than how to get you into the next sales funnel.
And I'd say too that one thing that was awesome about the pre-day is really the interaction with everyone that owns it, right? As far as managing the product, I love integrations from a technical standpoint. And one of the ruts I find myself falling into is I will build an integration for AlertOps based on what I think is the best applicable use case. But being able to have those discussions with Jason, with Adam, right, and decide how they intend their products to be used, and trying to find that like synergy, if you will, between us.
Synergy.
Drink.
But yeah, I think that it helps us build better technology. Whether the integration's there is just a checkbox. Whether it works well is something that really comes from being able to get a little bit deeper there.
Mm-hmm. It actually is a use case. So,
Yeah.
okay. And Adam, I'm gonna come back to something you were talking about. You've all talked about, you're the last one to say something about this, about MSPs finding success. What about for vendors finding success in this? Our ecosystem is large. That's a fact, right? We know that. You guys have been part of, in your short time even, you've been part of so many different things here. So, are there any tips to navigate this that are successful that you would recommend? And we'll start with Jason.
As far as like the PitchIT program itself, or just the market in general?
Everything, because not everybody's qualified for PitchIT, right? But some vendors are still trying to figure out how to navigate being successful in ConnectWise. So
Yeah.
What do you recommend?
Yeah, I think part of this value in the PitchIT process for us is that we had gone down the path of partnerships. We know we could solve the end client need, and then it's like we're going to go to market through partners, but our team didn't have much experience from MSP experience and that sort of thing. So for us, we got a lot of value in those first meetings, understanding what matters to the MSP, right? What are the things that help them drive them, so that we can talk and tailor our messaging around, how we can help them solve their problems. Yes, offering penetration testing is what we're ultimately trying to do, but how do we talk to the MSP? How do we message to the MSP? How do we truly create a partnership with the MSP and give them something that really they can deliver to their clients, add value to their clients, while also meeting their needs, right? So, profitability, not having to add new resources, like helping them sell it, right? Just because there might be a need down there, how can we help them speak about penetration testing the right way, and that sort of thing. So I think that was a massive value to us that we got from the workshop side of things, for sure.
So, okay. So, and I'll talk a little bit about to Cam even, and to Adam. You guys have both been part of some other of our stuff that we do. Cam and Chella, you guys showed up at what was called IT Nation Share, which is now the user groups. How'd you find that experience for you guys?
I thought it was awesome, and I think it was before the conference even, right? So this was our first introduction into the community, and I really liked how it went. It was a lot of open discussion. I liked the format of it, and I think that it really helps for us, at least, right? We weren't there as a vendor trying to sell anything, more listening. Right, being able to hear the user feedback, being able to see where MSPs are headed, not in the next quarter, but in the next 2 years. What do we want to evolve into? Because that helps inform us, and then helps develop our product roadmap based on the pulse that we're keeping on the industry. So I think that definitely that was awesome. And then also the connections, right? I know that the IT Mafia, right now we have monthly webinar sessions. We were able to get with Juan, do something there. I definitely think that from a visibility standpoint, it's very helpful, but also to be informed.
Yeah, no, I know when we talked about it, I was like, you were like, should we come down? I'm like, yes, you're in Chicago, just come. And you were like worried about how to show up. And I'm like, you just got to show up. That's all you got to do for now, just to see how it is. And you guys became fast friends with everybody. I feel like, I don't know, did you end up getting a client out of it? Let's say yes, I thought, maybe, I don't know, but I know you have
definitely some leads. I'm not sure directly from that one, but yeah, definitely some leads, definitely some contacts.
And it's funny because you mentioned Juan Mac.
Yeah.
Juan Mac is a customer of Adam Walter now as a result of going to the pre-day, which the reason why he came to the pre-day is because he was meeting you guys and me at the share event. So, and Adam, I really want to talk to you, but because I know you have involvement when it comes to Evolve, which is another offer we have, our pair groups, so again, I'm only trying to bridge the gap between multiple areas that you can take advantage of within this community. So Adam, like when you involve yourself with Evolve, how do you like your experience with people, with the members? How does that go? How is it for you?
It's a little bit more genuine. So you always talk about your target personas, right? Like instead of seeing it as just like I'm looking for an MSP, I'm looking for Bob at the MSP, and Bob cares about this. This is his history. This is who he is. I like one-on-one relationships. I love having smaller groups. I love whiteboarding. Like if you've ever seen me present, if anybody's in Evolve, I want a whiteboard. I want a piece of paper to draw on so that I can incorporate your ideas and what your Evolve group is struggling with into the topic of the day. And you can do that in Evolve. And it's just a great way to actually like see what the pain points are. Where are people? What do they care about? And I think actually Evolve was one of the places where I met Louis, who I think was the person who recommended me to PitchIT. My email isn't showing me. But, it's all about understanding your persona. And so many vendors are out there, especially if you're a startup, are trying to focus on the entire field. You're trying to focus on everybody rather than thinking, what about this guy? What about Bob? What do they care about? If you focus on like a ConnectWise ecosystem, you're getting one kind of persona. And within that, there's a bunch of personas. These are ConnectWise users. Now you can focus your message on this. And if you go to Evolve, you even get a smaller group. You can ask the coach like, hey, what is your group struggling with right now? So I can gear my presentation to be a value add to them rather than walking in with a canned presentation and walking through a bunch of PowerPoint slides that they won't care about. So Evolve, you get to be a lot more personal.
I would agree. You get a lot of time with very mature MSPs that have very well pointed questions too, and have vetted out what their issues, their gaps are, and their challenges. So I would agree with that. Now, I want to come back to, yes, Adam, you are absolutely correct, man. What we do is not a competition; it's a community. It absolutely is. I think the one underlying thing that stood out so far is we all found success together. Mm-hmm. I think that's one thing to make sure you understand. There's plenty of business out there. Even if you guys were actual competitors as far as your actual companies after PitchIT, like you guys all had dueling products, there's still plenty of business out there. It's about what's doing best. What is the best for the customer, meaning the partner, or even the end user in some cases, right? And what's best for the community at large. And you guys have definitely showcase that. I feel like as far as you guys went above and beyond, you guys did more than most people would do. Sponsoring, engaging, pushing the envelope, getting the awareness out there, bringing people to you all. I mean, it was actually, I take all the credit again, right? I made you all awesome, but realistically, you guys made the program awesome, which was great. It made it easy.
I think this is we all three of us genuinely care. We
Yeah,
actually care about changing a narrative, whether it's from pen testing and bringing that to the MSP, making it more accessible, or helping the day-to-day operations actually flow because we're all tired of being stuck behind tickets, or having better conversations with our clients so we can actually deliver things that they care about. Yep. We actually care about changing how MSPs are seen and what they can do. And that shines through of like when we see an opportunity that's going to actually show and help an MSP, we're going to take it.
Right.
I would agree. And I would even go further than that. There were 18 companies that were involved that competed. Not all of them were actively engaged in one element or another regardless. That's the nice thing about it. They were all engaged in improvement. You guys, I remember day one to when we did the preliminaries, the difference in the way you guys approached and the way you guys spoke. Just that alone, it takes confidence and practice continuously to get to where you are and understanding who the hell you're talking to, who your market is. And that was a big part of all that. So one thing I wanted to cover too, that when we talked about like successes, a big piece from educational standpoint that stood out from one of you, which was from Cam, which is he told me about his onboarding process. So again, we had all these weekly webinars, these workshops, right? And Cam, I'll allow you to share, like I thought was very impressive, the difference from onboarding before PitchIT and then what you learned and what it helped you with it later. You're muted, so you have to unmute first. That's the
Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the onboarding effect was awesome, right? And like I said, facts is what we live by. So the expert guidance is critical. We're going to be there one way or another to support you in the case that you want to do something custom with your processes. Operationally, you have some level of deviation from what the norm is. We're going to help you there. But what we found is because we were so hands-on, our onboarding process took forever. Now, going through PitchIT allowed us to create a model, essentially a framework by which to say, all right, these are the areas that we need to address during the onboarding. These are the areas that throughout the course of the onboarding exist as checkpoints for us to say, all right, has this line item been successfully completed? All right, and then additionally, what key features MSPs actually care about, right? It's the 80-20 rule. Obviously, 20% might not fall into the bucket, but being able to cater to the 80% and being able to essentially put it into a formula has helped us reduce our onboarding virtually in half.
Oh, nice.
Right. That is impressive. I mean, it's one of the hardest things. Any vendor knows the hardest part of getting customers in is the onboarding and the adoption, right? Mm-hmm. Adoption doesn't occur because onboarding is slow, not practical, not well explained, not outlined right. Take your pick. But at the end, if it takes too long to get somebody in and get them ramped up and gone, they tend to lose interest and they fall off the map, right? So that in itself is impressive. I'm glad that, and then it also gives you guys more time to do the important stuff, like grow your business. So that I think that's a big takeaway. And I want to make sure we talked about these things because I want people looking at this if they're considering to apply, to know that there's an education piece. It's not just all cool webinars and hanging out with me because that's the coolest, but it's the education piece behind it on how to improve your business. And we had some really good coaches. And I stress it: sales to marketing to mergers and acquisition to operational pieces that you need, right? And then take your pick. You learned it all, and from people that are practitioners in the space, which is probably the most important thing, is that they actually did it. So you can't really challenge them because they did it. You can't say no, it's not possible, because they did it more than once. So, but I want to come back around real quick here because we're going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes. Advice as to why somebody, in your own words, Adam, should apply for PitchIT.
You don't know what you don't know. And, it's rare to have an opportunity where somebody is going to charge you $30,000 for knowledge. You are a vendor. Everybody wants a piece of your pie. Everybody wants you to pay your pound of flesh to their program. PitchIT isn't asking for that. They're saying, hey, we believe that there are some great vendors out there who just need an opportunity to shine. This is it. So,
absolutely. Jason, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably reiterating the same things, but I think you become a member of a community that is growing every year, that's getting bigger and bigger, that supports each other through this startup kind of process here. And I really just don't think there's any way to go out with that, to Adam's point, without spending lots of money and get the exposure, brand awareness, and connections that you get through this process. And then on top of it, we've got a 12-week program that every week you're learning something new that can help you in sales, marketing. And I mean, you would have to pay lots of money just to get that kind of education and awareness outside of the brand awareness that I think adds so much value here.
Absolutely. Cam?
Everything. Right. I'd say that whether it's sales and marketing, whether it's financials, whether it's the technology piece of it, no matter what you're looking for, whether it's networking, right? Ultimately, there exists an avenue to gain that level of benefit from joining PitchIT, right? I think it's very holistic in the way that it helps you grow your business. So if you are a startup, if you are a growing business, PitchIT will have the solution for any problem you have. Right. I think that, or at least it'll put you in touch with the experts that you can discuss it with. So irrespective of what problems you're trying to overcome, there's normally going to be an avenue for you to be able to address them through the program.
Absolutely. And then the only other thing is, the three of you are all involved in the Invent program also. any takeaways on that? Any ahas about that people should understand about it? Because people that are considering joining PitchIT, become Invent, a lot of you guys actually did. But a lot of people are still looking to become Invent. So what are your thoughts on Invent? And Cam, we'll start with you.
It's awesome, right? And I think that before joining Invent, we had an integration, but then post-Invent, being able to reach out to the platform team regarding integration questions, being able to, I think I had mentioned this to you, Sean, sit with some sales engineers at ConnectWise to discuss the future of integration with ConnectWise products, right? Where do we want to expand into? Being able to have a dedicated rep. So every time that I need to find something, or for example, we wanted to start building out integrations with Automate, that's just an email to Jess, right? So I think that the access that we have to ConnectWise really helps us grow as an organization and our technology very easily.
Absolutely. Jason, what do you think? And
Yeah.
in your own words, what is Invent to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it started with the integration, right? I think before that, it started with wanting to be on the marketplace because we saw that as a value, right? Drive leads, things like that, which led to the Invent. We did also kind of do a survey because we were looking to integrate our results into ticketing systems, and at the time, it was ConnectWise Manage was the largest user base of wanting ticketing in our results in their ticketing system. So it kind of matched that as well. But I mean, to Cam's point, then you start getting connected into the marketplace. I mean, I was able to talk to, and I think there's about 20 or so ConnectWise sales engineers, security engineers, right? Doing a demo for them last week. So that's that's going through the marketplace. Now they know more about us and can talk about us. And it's, again, more brand awareness, lead generation.
Absolutely. Adam,
I think
you were so articulate when you first talked about Invent with me that I saved you for last. I'm dead serious. I'm not even joking. Usually I'm ripping on you, but I'm actually being genuine. I promise you.
Oh man, I got to remember what I said.
I know.
No, I mean, Invent, like I'll go with the new thing here. The testing and the process to get into Event. We are an old software. We've been around since 2014, which meant from Jason's standpoint, we are a party in a box. But Invent helped us to hone down on a lot of things that we thought, oh, we could do that better. Oh, we aren't digesting things the right way and improving the user experience in in ways that we never thought of before. And so working with the team over Invent, the developers, and being able to get that extra insight, because again, I didn't run a software company before this, guys. I was an engineer. I was good at IT leadership. Throw me in front of an executive board and I'm at home. Throw me in the middle of a software development process and I'm like, okay, what am I missing? And the fact that I inherited a software that I bought from another company, Invent helped me take it to the 2 more levels up. And so getting that process going where we're saying, hey, we could do this a lot better. And we have done a lot better. And for those of you who have seen some of the beta stuff we're pushing out this week, it's really cool. And a lot of that wouldn't have been possible if we weren't talking to people at ConnectWise saying, okay, so you're telling me if I develop this way, I can deliver this product to MSPs and help their day? You're like, yes. Oh. And so we started turning our development process in that direction and getting to know from the Invent perspective, like here are things now that we're focused on delivering and we're working with the developers on the back end and we're taking things to the next level to make things so much easier than they were before. And as engineers consuming this stuff, you need easier. And ConnectWise is there to deliver a lot of this. And we know what was possible so we could work with them. And then how can we work with other vendors? Is there ways for us to reach through ConnectWise and work with Vonahi's tickets that they're going to push out or AlertOps tickets they're going to push out? Is there ways for us to consume that and deliver that in a better way? Let's talk to the devs and see.
Absolutely.
So that inside track is invaluable.
Right. No, I appreciate that. All right, gentlemen. Well, we are past our time by a couple minutes. We've had worse. So thank you all for this. To remind everybody watching, the application period is open for those that are interested in signing up for the IT Nation PitchIT competition. The season will kick off in May. One last thing that I'm going to say about this is all 3 companies here have agreed to be the head coaches for next year, or this year rather. So thank you for that. Which means whoever becomes the finalist, these guys will be working with you to help you get ready for your final pitch to hopefully win up to $70,000, like Cam and AlertOps did. But yes, thank you again, gentlemen. Appreciate the time. Everybody who had a chance to watch, thank you for watching. I know there's comments. We provided links in the comments for you all as well. I look forward to seeing you all soon. All right, toodles.
All right.